The most prestigious Czech and Slovak virtual racing series is back. The best drivers from Czechia and Slovakia, competing in 12 races on iRacing. Who is going to win the championship trophy? That's Mercedes-Benz Virtual GP 2021. Welcome back to the Mercedes-Benz Virtual GP 2021 season. We're here for the second round of the season and the only night race of the year. It's time for our drivers to tackle the Daytona road course in Florida. My name is Justin Sutton, and joining me as usual, it's Chris Buxton.
As classic as Cadillac, this American behemoth circuit returns to the VGP calendar, and there it is, bright and beautiful under the lights. So have a look at the championship standings. Lucas Buxton leading the way for ERT Racing, a lights to flag victory for the ERT Racing team, but Martin Neidlich and Michael Matuszek looking to try and do something about that as well. And the competition was ferocious throughout the field. You can see the two big shot boys, Simon Sahara and Stepanovsky, very close together as well. Eric Vizzi having a pretty bad start to this season, I think it's fair to say. There's the team's championship, so it's actually in Tropic of Podstata and Matuszek leading the way with a third and fourth last time out. The Buxton brothers hot on their heels, and then Benzina pair of Kuchela and Neidlich ready to do battle once again, and the ESET pair as well, very, very close in points.
Quite the challenge for our drivers. Martin Stefanko holds the lap record with a 144.0. You can see it's warm but not hot. It's a little bit breezy, but not too bad for these drivers. So they'll have a bit of a, oh, look at that, Entropic locking out the front row.
They look like
Lucas
bodyguards
Buxton.
in that picture.
They really do. You want these guys to like you if you're going to try and get into that club. And it is ESET on the second row, Thomas Korony and Martin Sirotek. Yeah, great job by those guys to get third and fourth position. Martin Neidlich for Benzina in fifth position. Eric Vizzi in sixth, and with a penalty, by the way. And then looking a little bit further down, these are the drivers that are rounding out the top 10. Lenovo Legion, Electra being represented as well, too. Just outside the top 10, David Buxton way down in 11th. Lucas Buxton even further down in 13th position for the ERT Racing team. They're not going to be super thrilled about that, but looking to gain positions in the race, no doubt about it. Final positions for our drivers. This is where the rest of everybody is going to be lining up. VR Victoria and Dexfin a little bit further down, 20th and 22nd for them. Certainly not an ideal way to start their race, but we're preparing to go racing in Daytona for what will be, no doubt, an incredibly intense battle. Really looking forward to this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a rolling start for this one, so I nearly got excited for a moment as soon as they started moving, but nope. This is a rolling start here at Daytona. They're just going to be making their way through this bus stop chicane where they're going to be carrying a lot more speed come the race, certainly. But wow, what a qualifying for the Entropic and ESET cars, locking out the front rows. They'll be absolutely thrilled about that, no doubt about it. Not long now before we go green, and again, it is those beautiful Entropic cars. Chris and I are absolute fans of the Entropic paint scheme that they got going on for this season. And you can see a little bit of weaving going on there, a little bit of weaving, just trying to keep the temperature up on those tires as we prepare to go racing here any moment now, as they're coming onto that start-finish straight. And of course we will have 45 minutes of racing. There we go. They're really ramping up now. The speed is starting to build as we prepare to go racing. We're green flag racing. Look at the ESET cars nose to tail across the start. I think he's actually pushing him across the line as we get down into turn 1. He's going to have to be careful about that. You really don't want to take out your teammate. Certainly not at the first corner of such a long race. Excuse me, 55 minutes of racing as dipping a wheel into the grass there. You can see, oh no, somebody dipped more than a wheel in the grass. We got a spinner off. Who was that? I'm trying to get. Look at that! Almost at the other side, another spinner actually at turn 3 there. Lehman. Oh, yep, and that's going to lose him a lot of time.
Yeah, he's trying to find his way back onto the circuit, but look at this. I love how the ESET crew were doing the proper NASCAR, the real butt drafting going on there, and where better to do that than Daytona. Brilliantly done. But it's the Entropic pair. Podstata leads Matuszek. Sirotek and Gorny swap rounds since their qualifying position, but they're still, of course, in that third and fourth position. Bit of a gap then back to the Lenovo Legion car of Rozovsky. And oh no, Kovarek in the VR Victoria car has had a problem and has spun round coming onto the oval at turn 6, side by side. Kracha in the Mecha Alpha Sim Racing car in 8th position. That's David Pachada, who's already up into 8th position. Where is his brother? Wow. In 10th. So they've made 3 or 4 positions each. Oh, that looked like the 80 car getting a bit quickly coming onto the bus stop there. Hopefully he's managed to catch her. That was I believe, Martin Kracha that was getting a bit hot into the bus stop. That is Jan Sikora in the TP Link car, the number 13. Oh, just listen to the mighty roar of those Mercedes engines, all those horses galloping along the Daytona ovals. Yeah, I can't say I'm not a fan of that. That's an absolutely brilliant noise. There's Pachada on the outside coming into turn 1. Can he get it done on the 77 car? Oh, no, round! Oh, no, it's Eric Fizzy again! Oh, what a shot. Oh, my goodness, that's one of the TP Link cars going for a spin. That's Jan Sikora that's decided to try and drift around the circuit. Oh, no, Eric Fizzy, not again.
Yeah, that is definitely not ideal for Eric Vizzi. Good news for him is that he has good pace, and it's a long race as well. But yeah, you can see almost 13 seconds off the lead now, and only 1 lap under our belts. So not ideal for Eric Vizzi at all. But Kracha actually doing a great job, currently up in 8th position, losing a little bit of time to David Pachada in 7th, who's just about pulled about 1 second or thereabouts. But looking a little bit further, Thomas Corney, is he going to think about possibly retaking that position off of his teammate, getting back into that 3rd place position? We'll have to see if there's going to be any sort of team orders or anything like that. But as you pointed out, Chris, a really difficult start for VR Victoria and Dexfin. Both of their cars running into some issues, now running in 18th and 20th positions, respectively. So, yeah, not been a great start for them. But Entropic, a beautiful start for the two of them. Podstata and Matuszek holding on to that lead. Sirotek taking that 3rd place position from his teammate. But as you said, Chris, that bump drafting right at the start of the race, the roar of the V8s here at Daytona, which is, of course, a circuit that is not unfamiliar with the sound of the V8 rumble. Looking a little bit further back at Thomas Prohaska, who's looking to take 12th position on the rundown towards the start-finish line. That's off of Kujela in the Benzina Orland. He's looking to the outside. That's a difficult corner to try and overtake around the outside. Is turn 1. Ooh, I heard a bit of clunking going on up at the front. Yeah, definite contact happening. I think that was one of the Pachada brothers coming under attack from the big shot car behind. They're side by side through that chicane on the opening lap into the next right-hander, still side by side. That could open up an opportunity, actually. And there goes the one of the Pachada brothers up the inside of the big shot car. They're still going to be side by side on the run down towards this very high-speed left-hander of turn 4. Difficult to go around the outside, and in the end, the big shot car of Thomas Hora comes out on top of Lucas Pachada. Holy cow, that is some incredible battling.
Wow, last week's winner really means business from where he's ended up at the moment. Let's look at what happened to Lehman. Oh, a bit of a tap then for one of the All-4 Sim cars into that turn 2 chicane. Oh, that's a great shame, which that spun him into the infield. A great shame indeed. There's Krejci up into 8th position in the other Mecha All-4 Sim car. There is Thomas Horror still fending off Lucas Machado. Goodness, Lucas was really trying to get on with it, and already Thomas Horror feeling the need to defend that inside line. That's not really an overtaking spot though. All he's realistically done is compromise his line into that bus stop chicane, but he has managed to make it work for him though. It's David Machado though. He's up into 7th position now. Well, you can't even see him in this camera angle. He was leading this little four-way. He's gone up the road. He's a good 3 seconds down the road indeed from that particular pack. And there is Danda right behind him. Oh, have we got a change up from the Entropic pair side by side, fending off Sirotek in the E-Set car. Both the E-Set cars are trying to get the move done. In comes Rozovsky in the Lenovo Legion car with the fastest lap, and he's going to nick 4th from Thomas Correny. My goodness me, a change for 2nd. Sirotek has managed to usurp Matuszek. Rozovsky didn't get the move done, but now it is Entropic E-Set. That's a lot of E's up front.
Sirotek absolutely doing the business, getting himself up into 2nd position. Really, really impressive stuff from the ESET driver, you have to say. Great job from him. I do wonder what happened, though, to cause all of that at the beginning. Here's a replay of what happened with Eric Vizzi. Oh, yeah, unfortunately, nothing he could do about that one. It's got to be so frustrating, but again, he knows he's fast, he knows he has good pace, he's got to buckle down and just try and pick up positions where he can. He's already up into 18th position, 14 seconds off the lead car as it stands right now. Having a look at David Pichata, currently in that very lonely 7th place. He's got about 1.5 seconds to Senol up the road, and then a decent-sized gap down to Hora in the big shot car behind him, and you can see Hora in the background is actually coming under attack for that 8th place position. The other Pichata brother of Lucas trying to take that 8th place, trying to get his way past that big shot car if he can, and see if he can start closing up to his teammate and brother. But again, here's another driver who's having a bit of a quiet evening at the moment, as Senol in that 6th place position, and there's a big gap down to David Pichata, and an even bigger gap down to Thomas Hora. But here we go, the battling for the lead continues.
And that's going to go over to the ESET car of Sirotek. He got the run on the now 2nd place Entropic car of Podstata. I wonder whether he was just hoping to be able to resume the racing line, but the rate of knots that Sirotek gained in that all-crucial slipstream just catapulted him up into the lead. It looked like Thomas Correny trying to do something on the outside of Matuszek going into turn 3. Unless you've absolutely banzaied it in there and made it stick, that is never going to work for you, unfortunately. But right behind him as well, Rozovsky in the Lenovo Legion car. Not far behind is Senol in the Electra car. How big is this train going to get before the end of the race? Now, you know as well as I how important slipstreaming is at a venue such as Daytona, when you're on the gas for so much of the lap. That wasn't a stereotypical "you're American, you must know Daytona," but you know what I mean. You're on the gas for so long. There's not very many big braking zones. You got that obviously into turn 1 where you're coming off the banking after being on the gas for so long, but that's really the only massive braking zone. So those big down there moves you see, you know, the licks and stamp and send it, doesn't really happen all that often in Daytona. So you need to be close to someone. Oh, that was Thomas Correny almost getting too close to someone there. Too close to Matuszek, I should say. But the slipstream is so important. That's why you see Podstata actually rather highlighting my point, staying in the wheel tracks of Sirotek right behind. Now, interesting that Matuszek is making himself visible by going to the higher line. And there you go, look at the rate of knots. He suddenly gained off of Podstata, but that's now gone the other way. Here comes Thomas Correny trying to make a move, but he's a little bit caught out. Oh, is he going to try and get both of the... No way, he's not going to get both of them. Oh no, I wondered if he was going to try and have a go at both of them. Sadly, it's going to undo itself unless he can hold on to that line. Can he get the inside line for turn 3? He's going to try and outbrake Matuszek. Oh! No way! That was... Right, I suspect that was a mistake. Surely Rozovsky wasn't trying to do the double at turn 3 from... Yeah, that was... Oh! That was close. That was a very close incident with Thomas Prohaska there in the CP Link car. Oh dear. I suspect he's going to be... going to be spoken to about that one, I dare say.
Yeah, Rashofsky, I think you're right. I think that was a little bit of a mistake. He really seemed like the fastest car out of everybody in the top 5, though. And actually, I just noticed that's actually allowed Senol up into 4th position. Here we get a little bit of a shot of Thomas Corney racing in VR, if I'm not mistaken. Now into 3rd position as it stands right now, with a bit of a gap that's started to form between himself and the Entropic car of Podstata. Now, I have to say, and maybe you agree with me on Chris, maybe you don't, but it seems to me that the Entropic cars don't have the straight line speed. They seem very strong right up until they get to the start-finish line, when it really seems that these ESET cars just have that straight line speed or something, because it seems like turn 1 really is where we start to see these Entropic cars really start to come under attack. So, yeah, not ideal if that is indeed the case. Here's the replay of that incident from Rashofsky. You can see he moves to grab the inside line. It's all fine until this point, but you can see just how deep he goes into the corner. He was not going to make that corner. He knew he was 3 wide. He knew he needed to be, you know, really, really on the brakes to avoid running into anybody. But unfortunately for him, that just didn't work out that way. And now a gap has really started to form between Corney and Senol. And look at this, Podstata again really coming under attack from Thomas Corney in the ESET car. Really crazy racing we've got going on. And look at that, David Pichata has indeed joined onto the back of this. He is right behind Matuszek.
Oh my goodness me, I don't envy the camera operator, because there's battling everywhere, as is normally the way at Daytona. But my goodness me, 2 3-way battles up front. Sirotek leads Podstata, leads Corney. Then you've got that next pack of 3, Senol, Matuszek, David Pichata. Lucas is about 3 seconds off the back of it. On board again with Thomas Corney. Now he may well just opt to stay there for a while. We've got another 43.5 minutes to go, so a long way to go in this race yet. So he doesn't want to be then counterattacked by Podstata and start slowing each other up. Working with someone from another team as well, any racing driver will know it's difficult to kind of do, but you instinctively know at a track like this, where slipstreaming is so important, you've got to work with one another in order to try and maximise your own position. Again, Sirotek going very high on the exit of turn 11, that bus stop chicane. He's trying to give as little slipstream to Podstata as possible. Now, Podstata could have equally followed him, but he didn't. He stayed low on the line, and there you see it again. The Entropic car has just gained all that slipstream along that line, but he's going to have the outside line coming into turn 1. Is he going to try and make the move? It's brave if he does. No, I thought he would try and slip behind Sirotek then coming into that first turn. So some battling going on between Krejci and Nadlik for 10th position as they were coming down into turn 1 themselves. Lovely backwards shot here from Podstata. Or is this going to be a cutback for Thomas Corney? No, not quite. That door was then closed. So these 3 could continue along this kind of line for a while, but I bet you, if the next 3, which is Senol, Matuszek and David Pichata, do then close in on them, nice timing cameraman, just as I was talking about them, jumps to David Pichata, I suspect the top 3 will have to rethink what they're doing, because when you're in a 2 or 3 car train, you just kind of sit there in the slipstream. You start adding more to the party. Yeah, you can't rely on everybody doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And really, Podstata is going to be hoping that the next group of 3 actually catches up to them, because of course that is where Matuszek ended up after that melee at the front and all the calamity and insanity sort of kicked off. So he is going to be hoping, because at the moment he is in the middle of an ESET sandwich, and it has not been going well for them. And just really highlighting how few overtaking locations are at this circuit. I mean, these guys are carrying over 150 kph through that bus stop chicane, and that is actually one of the heavier braking zones on the course. Here we go. Thomas Corney maybe going to think about going to the outside. No, Podstata goes to the outside. Corney's going to close right up to the back of his teammate. He's going to bump draft him to ensure that he maintains the lead. Surely with the inside line, though, it should be pretty easy for them to maintain this position. He says, thank you very much.
Awesome.
And now that's going to be 2nd place for him. Very, very nicely done. That is exactly what they wanted. I wonder if that was coordinated, actually, between Sirotek and Corney, because that is exactly what they would have wanted to happen.
Oh, that was poetry in motion. Thomas Corney defending that inside line and pushing his teammate forward to make sure Podstata didn't remain in that second position. Now the Entropic car into third. That was just, if that wasn't coordinated, that was a great on the job thinking from the second ESET car, as Kreitzer under attack from Nadelig, the 80 Mecha All-4 Sim Racing car, under attack from the number 88 Benzina Orlan car. Now these two are not interested in staying into the Shire tracks. They're having a great old scrap. Slightly further down the field, here's another three-way battle going on. There is Lehman, who we saw having a big old spin early on in the second Mecha All-4 Sim car. He is chasing at the moment. That is Moric in the Ricard Sim. Ricard Sim car, and then right behind them is the recovering Eric Vizzi. Now, interesting, you saw the number 66 just go very high very early. He may have either just realised he didn't have such a good run out of that turn 6 onto the banking, or he just thought, you know what, you're faster than me, just on you go. You know realistically who you're in a battle with, and he may have just opted to just not waste time trying to defend against someone who will ultimately overtake them. As we jump on board with David Pachada, who has unbelievably, that's Matuszek already ahead of him. Oh, that's Kreitzer and Nadelig. They're not interested in just giving each other space. They're going to have that fight all day long, it seems. Just fine for us. Oh, that's close. And that's not what you want. You don't want someone lagging right next to you when you're trying to do a move like this. Nadelig's... Oh, is he going to try and carry that all the way around the outside of turn 1? Brave, but yeah, that was never going to work. Fair play for trying it, though. Is he going to try and banzai the inside of 3? He's gone for it. We'll have to see if that one paid off. And it did. Yeah, Nadelig now up into 9th position, trying the move that we saw unsuccessfully done earlier by Senol. But yeah, very nicely done. Right ahead of them. Look at that. That's Thomas Horry in the big shot car. That'll be a very strong result if he can hang on to that. Horror's doing very, very well in this particular race. But yeah, fighting everywhere. Love it. And the ESET boys trying to break away from Pod Starter. You'd have thought, you were saying in the infield, that's where he was a bit stronger, but he's fallen 4/10 behind Thomas Corney at the moment. I bet, is Corney going to do more of the bump drafting thing, or are they going to swap round? Oh, there we go, more of the bump drafting thing from the two ESET cars. Absolutely fine. Or don't send your... Well, as long as you remember to brake at the right time, otherwise you send your teammate off into oblivion if you get that one a bit wrong. But that, interesting, Pod Starter, he's still right there. So I agree with you. I think the Entropic cars have gone for a bit more wing in their setup, so it helps them in the twisty bits. But if they maintain that slipstream, that extra drag just isn't there, because they're of course in the slipstream. There's very little air resistance there, so they're not feeling the negative effect of that higher wing. So the bump drafting that the ESET guys are doing is benefiting them, but not as much as they would probably like as we come around turn 1 once again.
And look at that, the next group of 3 is getting even closer to my eye anyway. I haven't actually been watching the gap, but at the moment it's just about 1 second between the top 3 and the next 3. So I do wonder if that is indeed going to get closer. And I also wonder if these ESET guys, I mean, the bump drafting, yeah, it'll gain you some time, but it is a great way to have a huge mistake for your team. And these cars are not designed with bump drafting in mind. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, I wonder if that's something that they'll continue to do, or if they're just doing it out of desperation at the moment to try and pull away from Podstata. But maybe they'll back off on that once they've built a little bit of a gap, because yeah, it's a dangerous game that they're starting to play when you're bump drafting one another. You could see Corney get onto the brakes into the bus stop chicane quite a bit earlier, probably 10, 20 yards, or 10 or 20 meters even, earlier than Sirotek got onto the brakes. So you could see he was really being quite cautious on the prior lap as they were bump drafting, because that's the kind of thing you really do need to do. Oh, look at that, much slower that time for Corney through the bus stop chicane. That's going to put Podstata right onto the back of him within 1 car length, and they're still on the banking here coming onto the start-finish straight, so this might be the exact opportunity that Podstata needs. But look at that, he's just not gaining in the kind of way that you would maybe expect him. further proving, or potentially proving anyway, that indeed those Entropic cars just have a little bit more wing. You can see him moving to the outside. He's getting closer as they get into turn 1, but it's just not enough. He can't quite do it. So he's going to have to find another location. Ooh, a little bit further back. Senol coming under attack from the other Entropic car of Matuszek, getting very, very close through turn 1 as David Pichota just kind of looks on. Lucas Pichota has Thomas Hora right behind him in that battle for 7th position. They're about 1 second adrift from that second group of 3 cars running in the battle for 4th position as it stands right now. But Senol doing a good job. He hasn't really come under too much pressure. I mean, he's got the Entropic car of Matuszek right behind, but there hasn't been a whole lot of side-by-side action going on for that 4th place position. So Senol doing a good job maintaining that spot. But yeah, the gap still about the same from the top 3 to the next 3, and I would imagine Podstata is really, really hoping for his teammate to get in there and start helping him.
2 drivers still trying to make their way back to positions they were in originally. They have gained another since we've last looked at them, but still some way behind where they ought to be. Particularly the Lenovo Legion are very busy. We saw winning races last season, but this season not starting well at all for the Lenovo Legion returnee. But also something else to bear in mind, what we were talking about, bump drafting and what have you. Yeah, these GT3 cars aren't really designed for it. NASCARs have a very flat front for a very specific reason. And that is, oh, wow, Eric Vizzi thinking about an insight. You need to be committing to that way before there, young man, if you're going to try and overtake into the bus stop. But also bear in mind that iRacing isn't realistically built for having cars making impact with one another. The dreaded incident points will build up if you keep nudging the car in front of you. iRacing doesn't care if you're trying to bump draft someone. It'll see it as an impact and give you both penalty points. So sadly, the ESET guys can't keep doing that. One, the cars won't like it, and 2, they'll risk getting disqualified through incident points. So they've given it a go. And fair play to them, and the timing when Thomas Corney pushed Sirotech into the lead was absolutely, that's a highlight reel material right there. Absolutely is, but they can't keep doing it, unfortunately. The gap between them and the next pack of 3 has increased a little bit. It's now 2.3 seconds between Podstata and Senol. As we now look at that second pack of 3, Senol leading Matuszek, leading David Pichota. Equally, David Pichota's charge seems to, well, both Pichota brothers' charge seems to have stalled a little bit. They could be just kind of biding their time. They will be in the pits at some point in the race. They don't have to do anything when they're there. They just have to have a mandatory pit stop. So they may be just kind of biding their time. They don't want to burn the best out of their tyres too quickly. But even still, the Pichota brothers were outside the top 10 in qualifying. And Martin Svoboda, we saw he'd been in the pits for quite some while. He has opted to officially retire from the race. Clearly, an opening incident we didn't quite see. But fair play to once again the ERT Racing boys showing what they're made of. But wow, if this is what the season has in store for us, this is going to be one of the best.
Yeah, no doubt about that. That is unfortunate. Again, VR Victoria and Dexvin really, both their cars getting caught up in early incidents, so that's really unfortunate for them. But Svoboda can look forward to Zolder up next, and I imagine he definitely will be looking forward to that. And here is a replay of Svoboda. Oh, did he have a little bit of an incident all on his own? I mean, he's carrying damage with that car. Oh, yep. And that is a spectacular way to end your race. Holy cow, that's some highlight reel stuff from Svoboda. He finds that sort of pit lane wall and just wedges it right in there at high speed after a little bit of a drift too, just to make things look even better on the slow replay cam. If we can get a slow motion on social media after this race of that one, that would be fantastic. I will definitely retweet that. But yeah, just looking a little bit further up, we still have 21 cars still battling in this race, and Lucas Pichota still has Thomas Hora for company right alongside him, as we can have a look at the focus on Thomas Hora's face down at the bottom right-hand side. The currently leading Big Shock driver, the other Big Shock driver of Stepanovsky, not having a great day, down in 18th position, 27 seconds off from the lead, but Thomas Hora really running quite strong, actually, behind Lucas Pichota, picking up that slipstream, running down through the bus stop chicane. and onto the banking for yet another lap as we rapidly approach halfway distance in this race already. I kind of can't believe it that so much time has gone by. It feels like this race had just got underway. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I just noticed the gap between the leading pair. They're doing their bump draft thing once again. Corny's going to move to the inside line. Stereotech, though, has the track position and is able to maintain the lead. And I would imagine Podstata is actually kind of happy about that. If these guys are having to bump draft just to maintain the lead, surely that's good news for Entropic. Oh, as that's Lemon coming into the pits from 17th position. So he's going to do his mandatory pit stop, and maybe that'll be good news for him. He could get a bit of an undercut going on potentially. David Pichata looks like he's got his brother slowly starting to catch up to him potentially here. You could just see the Pichata brothers in the background there, and that's Krecha into the pits as well for his stop. So Mecha Alpha Sim have decided to bring in their drivers quite early. They're going to drop down to what is effectively last in the race as it stands right now, but we'll see if that pays dividends for them later on in the race.
What that bump drafting in the ESET pair is doing, it's not losing Podstarter, but it is distancing that pack of 3 from the ones behind it. Now, Podstarter is doing exactly what he needs to do, and just staying in the tyre tracks of Thomas Corny, and the ESET boys know there's nothing they're going to be able to do about it. Oh, I did wonder if Matushek was going to try and banzai that on the inside of turn 8. He knows better than that. He just wants a decent exit from here. A little bit high. Oh, that's not a good exit for Senol, though. Surely this is an opportunity for the 42 to claim that 4th position, but that's then going to put Matushek in the position where he's going to be slipstream. Oh, he wanted a bit more rate of speed to come past him than that. Oh, who's going to blink first? Well, Matushek's still carrying the extra speed. That's 1 kilometre/hour difference. Oh. That's all it really is. And no, Senol's managed to find a little bit more grip. Or has he? Coming into turn 1. How much Weetabix have they had for breakfast? Oh, well defended. Very well defended from Senol. He kept his head, didn't he? And the Pichata brothers are now together. Well, so that what was a trio has now become a pack of 5. As Thomas Horror is now, well, Lucas Pichata and Thomas Horror have joined that particular battle as well. So the slipstreaming that the ESET boys are doing has extended that gap to about 2.6 seconds. I don't really think it's worth them doing. It's not gaining them any substantial difference. It's not binning Podstarter to any great degree. It is opening up the gap to Senol a little. I personally think it's too risky. I don't think they need to keep doing it, but, well, anything can happen in these kind of races. We all know that. We've already had some pretty interesting incidents already going on, but there's still the pit stops to play out, and we have seen positions change as a result of those.
If they were my drivers and it was my ESET team, I would rather them trade positions back and forth rather than attempting to bump draft. You know, whoever happens to be leading on a particular lap, as you come onto the banking for the final corner, maybe just just save just a tiny little bit of fuel. Let Corny get through, slot in between, because yeah, it's not paying the dividend. Look how close Corny and Podstata are, actually. Just half a tenth between the two of them. I wonder if they're going to be battling. Oh, look at that. Just a tenth between the top 3, actually, as they get into turn 1. Wow, Lucas Pichata with the fastest lap of the race, a 1:43.0. He did have that clean air for a little bit, and that's what allowed him to close up to his brother David Pichata, and there they are now. There is that 5-way battle for 4th position. And you can see it is still as they were for the front 3. Stereotech, Corny, Podstata still holding on to their positions, but Senol, Matushek, the Pichata brothers, and Thomas Hora all in very, very close proximity. We are in the pit stop window as well, too, so I wonder if any of these guys are going to try anything a little bit different. Maybe just pit 1 lap earlier, 1 lap later, whatever it might be. Just try something a little bit different and see if they can gain a position during the pit stop phase.
Lucas Machado was a little scruffy coming through turn 6 there. It's going to lose him a bit of momentum, but he's still well within the slipstream range, so he shouldn't lose too much. Coming back to what you were saying about the ESET boys kind of swapping round, the danger is Podstata, he's too close to make that work. He would just latch onto the back of the one that's doing the overtaking manoeuvre.
For some of these laps, big time.
Yeah, and then overtake the ESET driver that's being overtaken. So I think that in itself was too risky. On board with the aforementioned Entropic number 12.
See, this time it would work. This is one of the laps where they could do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not the last one.
No, definitely not the last one. And here we go again. So Podstata just utilising that slipstream, and you can just hear he's backed off. He's dropped it entirely. It sounded like he's stalled.
Ooh, fuel saving, into neutral.
Well, again, he could well be. Why not? He's carrying that much momentum with slipstream as well. Well, from 2 cars, he's got no air resistance. Why not? I mean, if it
I like it.
saves him, a few tenths or a few hundredths in the pit lane, with it being that close, that could be all the difference he needs to regain the lead. So that's very, very clever thinking from Podstata, if, of course, it pays off. So we will see when they choose to come in. Thomas Prohaska for TP Link is in the pits as well. This particular pack not interested in seeing the pit lane at all. The gap now 3 seconds from Siratech to Senol, the lead trio to the chasing quintet. Thomas Horace having a great day. He was 12th last time out, which in itself was a good result. We tend to see the Big Shock boys towards the back of the field last season, and this is a huge improvement for Thomas Horace. He's done very, very well to work his way towards the sharper end. He's, as you mentioned earlier, Stepanovsky, a reasonable 15th position in fairness, but not having as much luck as his teammate. Look at that lot. There's not many more beautiful aside than just these roaring GT3s on the back of a well-lit Daytona. That is just automotive poetry. That is beautiful.
Lovely backward shot as well too. You love to see the different angles on offer this season. Really just taking the as both of the ESET cars are coming in, but Podstata is staying out, and I love it. Holy cow! 4 of that quintet. Of that quintet, by the way, great word. I love that you used quintet. 4 of the 5 pulling off into the pits. Look at all those P's on the left-hand side. Rashovsky's into the pits. Kujela's into the pits. Both Pichata brothers, Thomas Hora, both the ESET cars. Senna's into the pits as well too. But Podstata has stayed out, and I love it. In fact, both Entropic cars have stayed out. Matuszek is out as well too, and I like this. I like that they've done something a little bit different. I have been hypercritical in the past of the likes of Stefanko, just back when he was battling with Schmidl, and he would often pit on the exact same lap, and I would get very frustrated about that. Ooh, was that some contact with the barrier for the leading ESET car of Thomas Koreny? I think he may have touched the barrier. I don't know if he would have picked up any sort of damage or anything like that, but I swear I saw him just touch the wall ever so slightly. I thought I heard a little bit of crunch there, but both of the Entropic cars doing something different from the ESET drivers, and I'm very, very interested to see how this pays dividends for them here, Chris.
Yeah, but look at David Machado. He's linked right on the back of Siratech. That's a huge gain for ERT there. So
good spot.
That's going to be a brilliant one. And Senol has very rudely split the Prajada brothers as well. So I think that's David gaining on Senol more than Senol losing, doing something to lose as well. I think that was a stonking pit stop from David there. But on board with Podstata, still not pitting, so the Entropics are going deep into the race. I don't reckon. Well, one of them is. Matuszek has decided to come in. I think he should have done that with everybody else. Because, again, coming back to the slipstream being so important here, Matuszek, Nadlik and Danda all coming in now. Matuszek is in no man's land. As we've just seen, everybody has their own pit stop, so it's not like they're having to stack, like in Formula 1, for instance, where one team, one pit box for 2 cars. They all have their own pit box, so they can all come in at exactly the same time. The ESET boys looking to pick up where they left off. And it looks like are they swapping over? I wondered if... that's Siratech letting Koreny through. Or was that the other way around?
Other way around.
Other way around.
Sirotech,
Beg your pardon. So, is Matusha going to get out ahead of them? He is. No way. He did it. No way, Matuszek. What a... if he hasn't underfueled his car, I will be absolutely amazed. I wonder then if that was a slow pit stop from the ESET pair. Because again, we saw that David Prachada, who was... what was he, about 3 seconds behind? Oh. He was in that pack that was about 3 seconds behind the ESET pair, now right on their tail. Now Matuszek is ahead of the ESET pair, and Podstata, this could start to come back to him because Matuszek could try, it's really hard to slow anybody down at Daytona, but he could try and back the pack up a little bit to allow Podstata to regain the lead. Oh, momentum has just swung back to Entropic, and now Podstata comes in. Oh, wow, he was very late on the pit lane limiter there. But, oh my goodness, you cannot discount the Entropic pair in this race.
Absolutely incredible. I'm really surprised by that kind of gap, and I think you are right, Chris. I think that is ESET struggling, and I wonder if it has to do with the two of them pitting at the same time. Again, they don't share a pit box. Thank you for mentioning that, because I'm sure a lot of people will be confused about that if they're familiar with Formula One. They do not share a pit box, so there's no worries about pitting both drivers at the same time. But the ESET cars were so close to each other when they pit. I wonder if they just held each other up a little bit, or if there was that little bit of hesitation as they get onto the brakes, because it is a heavy braking zone. Now, where is Podstata? He's already coming out of the pits, and there's Matuszek coming through. He's done it even better. He's done it even better. Look at the gap that he has. That's incredible. And I was concerned. I was concerned about the overcut. Especially because the Entropic cars were falling out of the slipstream, and the slipstream is so strong here. So I did worry for them by staying out 2 laps extra. 1 lap extra, overcut, low fuel. Totally, you can make it work. 2 laps, I don't know if that's gonna work. Those old tires and the lack of slipstream and all that kind of stuff would be concerning for me. But this has worked. An absolute treat. Podstata is 4 seconds ahead of Sirotech with less than 20 minutes remaining. Surely this is nothing but great news for Entropic, and I do wonder if Sirotech is even getting a whiff of slipstream. He's over a second behind Matuszek.
I doubt he is. It's usually around 8/10 when it starts to sort of really become a noticeable effect. So I don't think Sirotech's gaining anything, or absolutely negligible amounts, if anything at all, off the back of Matuszek. The only thing that can go against the Entropic pair is if they've short-fueled. So we will see. Short-fueling at Daytona is an absolute recipe for disaster. We'll see. I've seen the gamble work, but very, very, very rarely. Look at Prachada. David Prachada's not interested in trying to push the ESET car along. He jumps out from the slipstream but cannot maintain the momentum. However, they're at it again. The ESET boys are pushing each other along. They go high up on the banking there. David Prachada just simply follows them, along with Senol right behind them. Oh, nearly going a little bit deep. I wondered if David Prachada was going to try and bounce like that on the inside of turn 1. He opts not to do so, but it does look like the ERT racing car of David Prachada, he's got horses ready to deploy, it looks like, over the ESET pair, but he can't keep his eye off of Senol right behind. Lucas Prachada another 1.5-ish seconds behind them. He could catch them if they squabble too hard. But wow, I did not see this coming at all. I really thought the ESET were just going to resume the lead post-pit stop, and Entropic would have to find the solution. But I mean, talk about the contra strategy working well. That's an absolute blinder. If, like I say, if they've short fueled, that is going to bite them. They don't have a very big gap back to the rest of the field. But if they make this work, that is an absolute genius move.
Yeah, really 200 IQ plays from Entropic if this does in fact end up working out for them. That gap, by the way, from Matuszek to Sirotech did close down quite a bit at the start of this lap, but Matuszek has managed to pull that back out. It's now just over a second, about 1 second, as they make their way out of the bus stop chicane. Let's see how Sirotech closes up to Matuszek, if Sirotech closes up to Matuszek and is able to erase a little bit of that gap between the two of them, because once he gets into the slipstream range, that's going to be massively helpful, not just for his lap time, but also for his fuel consumption and other things like that. So certainly Sirotech is going to be really keen. And look at that, it has come down. It's about 0.8 of a second actually as they cross the line. So Sirotech does get closer to Matuszek. Let's see how that changes. Let's see if a little bit of extra downforce on the Mercedes of Matuszek and possibly Podstado, we've hypothesized as well, allows Matuszek just to eke that gap back out through the middle part of the lap here, from corners 1 through 6, essentially, is where we expect the Entropic to be strong, if indeed it is high on, and look at that, it is indeed. It's building up once again. Matuszek about 0.9 of a second now. Let's see if he can get that other 1/10 of a second that he's missing out on. Very, very tidy through the right-hander of turn 5. Yeah, again, looking great on the throttle, on the power, and again, it's about 1 second. So I think even if it's not, let's say it's not aerodynamics, there's something on the setup of that Entropic car that certainly causes it to be favorable from turns 1 through 6, and then it's all the banking and stuff where you see the ESET drivers just a little bit stronger. But really, the Entropic boys really pulling a blinder here with the strategy and everything. And oh man, what a start to their season they've had. I mean, great race last time out, a great race so far here, great livery as well too. Entropic is just on it in 2021.
Aren't they just? Now Senol and David Pichardo swap round last lap. I think David Pichardo rather had a bit of a bad run out of turn 11. Senol now having a look at Thomas Corney, who's fallen off the back of his teammate. Now this is a great opportunity for the electric car to gain that position. He's going to go into turn 1, but he's a little bit too far back. He's going to have to slot back into position. Now David Pichardo has brought his brother, and also Martin Nadley joins the party. That, what you're looking at there is third. Well, you can argue that is second, because again, as they enter the complex, it's less than a second between Matuszek and Sirotech. It will build up again, as we've just observed. That's second down to 8th. In that chain now, and there, just at the bottom of Shoga's Podstado, he's lost some time. That was over 3 seconds, that gap. He has lost about 0.4 of a second. That could just be a simple mistake he's made, and maybe, you know, too deep into turn 1 or what have you. So he has lost a little bit of a time there. Doesn't need to worry about it too much as we are heading towards the sort of final quarter of the race now. But I tell you what, the man that's under the most pressure is that second Entropic car. I would not want to be in Matuszek's shoes right now.
He does seem confident, though, I have to say. He is doing the business to maintain that second place position. As you say, he is in probably the least enviable spot of this entire race. He's got 6 cars behind him just frothing and chomping at the bit and ready to take that position, but he's doing a great job, Matuszek. You can see where he's losing time and gaining time, and he's just consistent lap after lap after lap. Doing a fantastic job, I have to say. Entropic really is doing the business here this week. Senol, again, looking on Thomas Corney. Again, he's forced to the outside for turn 1. Not ideal. He's going to have to be later on the brakes. I don't know if you noticed this, Chris, when you're commentating on the battle into turn 1 last lap, but Senol actually had a wheel in the air as he was going around the outside of turn 1, that inside front wheel lifting up as he was, so I mean, you could really tell that these guys are on the limit. Oh, the Pichardo brothers are getting very, very close. They're historically very, very clean when racing one another, but they've got Nadleek right behind, they've got Senol just ahead, so I do wonder if there's going to be some sort of incident, because it is an absolute hornet's nest in that battle for third position.
That it is. We've got another great battle here. Rozovsky, Krejcia and Kujela representing Lenovo Legion, Mecha All for Sim Racing and Benzina all in that order. So again, they may well be just holding station for now, but they're trying to pressure for that mistake as well to give them a position on the one ahead of them. They're about 8 seconds behind the next pair, which is Thomas Horror and Danda for Big Chok and Electra respectively. But you know, this positions to be gained everywhere, even behind them. Lehman and Moritz having an argument over 15th positions. It doesn't really matter where you are. There's generally someone to fight with, which is, again, all good. Podstarter is losing time. He's lost about a second in the last couple of laps.
Wow.
Now, that's not just to his teammate. The pack behind are gaining by about the same amount. That gap between Matuszek and Sirotek seems to be stable at about a second. It's going to rise and fall, as we've already discussed, but crucially, that gap between the Entropic pair seems to have come down in the last couple of laps. Is Podstarter starting to suffer a little bit? Senol again goes with a high route. David Brachada is launching. Where's Lucas Brachada gone? Oh, he's lost a position to Martin Nadlik. That's what's happened. So the Benzina and the ERT have swapped rounds, and Lucas must have made a mistake. So, but there is Lucas at the back of that shot. Oh, Senol is now starting to get a little bit frustrated, I think, being sat behind the second ESET car there. He's trying to find a way through, but it's very, very difficult here at Daytona. David Brachada is also lurking there. There's Lucas Brachada, so he's made a mistake of some description. Can't see any obvious damage to the cars. And whether he's hit something or had a spin, we don't know. We didn't see it, but that's given Martin Nadlik for Benzina the 7th position spot. This is still really wide open.
Unbelievable. 10 minutes to go in this 55-minute race, and the top 8 are separated by 6.5 seconds. Unbelievable. What a season we are getting. Mercedes-Benz Virtual GP 2021 season. I mean, it was looking good after Imola, but I think we've solidified this as an incredible season. As Krejci just flirting with the pit entrance a little bit there as the P pops up. But we're on board with Danda, who's getting very close to the back of Thomas Hora. Oh, getting even closer under braking there. That's a bit nervous, certainly from the Electra X Racing driver as they get into the braking zone for that bus stop chicane. You really want to be slow in, fast out. I mean, ideally you want to be fast in, fast out, but if you're going to sacrifice one or the other, you definitely want to sacrifice the entrance of the bus stop chicane. You can see he's closing up on the big shot car now. He's going to have to move to the outside line now, just as they turn for this slight kink, this kind of dog leg here on the course as they cross the start-finish line. And yeah, he's not going to be able to go to the outside, go around the outside at turn 1. It's so difficult to make a move there, as we've seen demonstrated several times throughout the course of this race. But yeah, it's been an absolutely fantastic battle that we've had for this 9th place position. Great battling up and down all throughout the field. Really fantastic stuff. I wanted to point out that the other big shot car of Stepanovsky as well has been locked in a battle with Jan Rieger as well for a really long time. Those two have been going at it for 18th position for quite some time, and you'd think they were battling for the lead with the amount of time that they've been spending with one another. Similarly for Danda and Hora as well, but looking a little bit further up the road at the Entropic cars. Again, a great first event for them. They're looking to continue that. It's been a great race so far. Just over 8 minutes remaining here at Daytona for the second round of the 2021 Mercedes-Benz Virtual GP through the bus stop chicane. And oh yeah, Sirotek is a lot closer now. I was thinking, Chris, I was wondering if possibly Podstarter was starting to slow down to give the slipstream to Matuszek in order to protect that second place position. But I'm not so sure that's the case. I think the ESET cars, especially Sirotek, have genuinely been closing that gap down. I don't think it's mistakes or intentionally slowing down or anything like that going on. I think Sirotek is just starting to claw that back in, but he's really running out of time. Oh, look at that behind. Oh, some more battling going on. David Brachada on Senol. Contact between the two of them. Senol is around. Is he going to get collected? Oh, he just about. And I think that's, Nadlik. Yep, Nadlik making huge contact with the barrier. Is he going to pull off and retire? I think he is. That's so unfortunate for the Benzina Orland driver. He's going to lose out on a lot of points as a result of that.
7 minutes left. Oh, you've got to feel for Martin Nadlik there. That was such a shame. Oh, I mean, he was on the podium last week at Imola, but and again was, like you say, was on for a really good haul of points here. And nothing he could have done. I mean, he did his best to avoid very heavy impact there, but the race still continues. Now that's completely changed the dynamic up front. That chain is just completely spread out now with the retirement of Martin Nadlik. But this essentially frees up Sirotek to just have a big old attack on Matuszek, especially as we're now in the closing stages of the race. You may well be right, Podstata may well have been backing off to try and give his teammate a bit of a helping hand, but he may well have just decided to get on with it to not risk trying to get Sirotek involved in that particular fight. Only they realistically know what their tactics were. Oh, well, my heart goes out to Martinelli. That was such a great shame there. Oh, side by side again. That's Alex Dander that's having an argument with Thomas Horrow, who's now up to 7th place as a result of Martinelli's retirement. Absolutely storming result for the big shot car. And further up the road, Sirotek is actually now side by side with Matuszek. Hopefully we'll catch up with that very shortly as these two come into turn 1. And there it is. So that's Sirotek side by side with Matuszek, who's slowing down. Well, he's being slowed down because of the battle. That's bringing Thomas Corney and David Pichardo back into this fight. So at the moment, it's 2 pairs. Battle for second and battle for 4th. Really hotting up. 5 minutes to go. Oh, it's gloves are off. This is just an all-out war now.
43.7 last lap for Matuszek is not a slow lap by any standard whatsoever. But yeah, you could see big gap now starting to form, especially as a result of that battling, that side-by-side. It's really going to slow them down. 3.2 seconds is the gap between the two Entropic cars. Just under 5 minutes still to go here at Daytona for the second round of this 2021 season. The ESET cars were in the lead. They were leading this race 1-2 earlier on, and they would love to try and get that back. But I do fear for them that Podstata is well out of reach at this point with over 3 seconds between himself and Matuszek. And Matuszek, it does not seem easy to overtake. He is doing everything he can to keep those two ESET cars behind, to maximize his points, to maximize the team's points. He is going to fight tooth and nail against those ESET cars. And the ESET cars clearly have been doing absolutely everything they can do throughout this season as well. Let's have a look once again at that incident with Senel. Once again, he was trying it around the outside. Pachada getting involved as well. You can see he was going to try and take the inside line, see if he could just sneak a position on the electric car. Light contact between the two of them just sends him into a bit of a spin. Then there's that heavy contact with Martin Nadlik. He ends up in the barrier and out of the race entirely. Senel able to continue, loses a number of positions, still ahead of his teammate. It looks like two cars in the top 10 for Electra X is probably how things are going to finish. But I would not predict who is going to finish this race in second place, because I would say there are 4 potential candidates for who's going to finish in second here, Chris.
Well, you saw how wide Matuszek was on his picture. Well, look at the size of him. I mean, he's making his car as broad as his shoulders. He's a big man. But yeah, I mean, Matuszek has done an absolutely superb job of just maintaining all this pressure. Oh, a little bit drifty coming out of that turn 6. Is this an opportunity for the ESET guys? Well, I mean, you could say that time and again. the Sirotek and Corney have done what they can, but the Entropic pair have just had an answer. Even early on, when we thought they were going to fall through the field, pulled an absolute blinder in the pit. Wow, look how defensive Matuszek went into the bus stop, somewhere you don't expect an overtake. He wasn't chancing it at all. But has that compromised his exit, though? That's always the danger. David Pichardo still lurking there, ready to split the ESET pair, if nothing else. Here we go, over the line. We only have a few laps left now. David Pichardo looks ready to strike. Here comes Sirotek. He's in a prime position to make the attack. Oh, look, synchronized passing going on between Sirotek and Pichardo there. Side by side, but we've seen how the momentum swing happens. But the ESET car has nosed ahead of Matuszek. Can he get it done? Heavy on the brakes. Who's going to be braver? Oh, well defended again from the Entropic car. The ESET pair nearly come together. But that's come now. Momentum's back to Matuszek. Will the ESET pair swap round? No, I think they're more interested in trying to keep David Pichardo where he is. less than 2 minutes to go, and yeah, I'm still not putting my money on who's going to finish in second.
Nope, I am not prepared to make a prediction on that whatsoever. But one thing that I can say is for sure is that we're going to have one more lap after this one. There's not enough, or there's too much time in order for this to be the final lap, so there is going to be one more lap, which I'm sure Matuszek is really frustrated about. I'm sure he was really hoping that this might potentially be the final lap, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that way whatsoever. Corney into the 144s now. The lap time's really starting to suffer a little bit, probably as a result of just increased tire wear and all of that kind of stuff, or just getting caught up in the traffic and the battling and all of that kind of stuff. He did have an ERT racing car alongside him side by side as they were starting this lap and turning in for turn 1, and that is definitely going to slow him down ever so slightly. You can tell it's been an exciting start to the lap because the car with the 2 on the windshield is actually behind the car with the 3 on the windshield, so you know it was a good start to the lap. Here we go. Are we going to see any bump drafting for the end of this race? Potentially. Putzata is accelerating down towards the white flag this time. Yep, definitely the white flag this time. Only 40 seconds remaining in this race. That would be a heck of a lap time if he managed to get back around that quickly. But here we go. ESEC drivers, are they going to be side by side? This time Matuszek is able to just take the apex. He doesn't have to worry about any cars on his outside this time. That's going to be great news for the Entropic driver. Keeps those ESETs behind for the meantime. This should be the part of the lap where he's actually stronger. That's what we've seen historically in this race. The Entropic's quite strong through the early part of the lap before we get back onto the banking after turn 6. So we'll see if Matuszek can use that advantage to just build a little bit of a gap. He doesn't need much. He just needs a few tenths if he can manage. He still stays to the middle of the circuit, actually, through the right-hander of turn 5. 2 ESET cars right behind him. I wonder here, Chris, if we are going to see again, I would expect actually synchronized overtake attempts. I think we're going to see 2 side-by-side moments coming to the line here in a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right, but who's gonna win out on this one? Matuszek, I think, has done what he needs to do. Like you say, he only needed a few tenths. He had 4 tenths as they came out of turn 6. He would have liked a bit more than that. That may well be enough as long as it doesn't go all wrong into the bus stop. Getting very closely condensed once again. The ESET pair very close. The cameraman struggling to know where to look. In fairness, he wants to cover, but started taking the flag. But that battle behind him is just absolutely electric.
Putzata is beaming. You could see the elation on his face. He already knows what's happening. He's got that 2-second gap. It's gonna be a very well-deserved victory. You can see his teammate behind flashing his lights as well. Probably for Putzata. He crosses the line. It is gonna be a 1-2. Is it? They're swapping places right as they cross the line. It is Matuszek in second position by the narrowest of margins. Now it's showing Sirotech. Actually, Sirotech in second position. He may have just grabbed that. That would have been an incredible result. 8 thousandths of a second.
8 thousandths of a second is all that separates, if that timing is correct, Sirotech from Matuszek. Oh my goodness me.
Oh wow. We have been treated to an absolutely incredible race. Fantastic stuff. The Pachata brothers in 5th and 6th. Thomas Hora in 7th position. The Electra cars in 8th and 9th. Krejcia bringing home a top 10. Rashofsky, you have to say, with a great recovery drive after that big incident into turn 3. We don't know if he's going to get a penalty or anything like that for it, but still a fantastic drive back to 11th position after that huge incident for Rashofsky. Kujela in 12th. Vizzy could only manage 13th after that early race incident. And Moritz in 14th position. Lemon in 15th position. Thomas Prohaska in the TP length. Rieger in 17th. Stepanovsky in the end could not keep up with Rieger, actually. In the end, about 5 seconds between the two of them. They were having that great battle. Sikora in 20th position, crossing the line. Not a great race for Sikora in the end. Let's have a quick replay. Oh, I wasn't expecting this. A replay of that finish.
They did bump draft, look. They did. The ESET guys bump drafted right at the end. Oh, I did it. He did do it. Oh, wow. Matuszek flashing his lights, thinking he got in that second position. There's the number 3 on the car. Look at this.
Amazing.
I defy anybody that says oval racing is dull. What? Look at that. That's what 8,000 of a second looks like. Once again, the ESET guy is doing the strategy brilliantly well. Oh, Matuszek, he will feel horrid for that because he was clearly celebrating, flashing his lights, either in congratulations to his teammate or to his own performance, which was still very good. Let's not mistake that. But my word, what a finish. So the podium then, Lucas Buxton taking the top spot. Martin Sirotek just at the death of the race, taking the second spot. There it is, by such a narrow margin. Oh, sorry, 18,000 of a second, I beg your pardon, to Michael Matuszek. Thomas Corney fourth, the Pradadas brothers 5th and 6th, Thomas Horror 7th, Stanislav Senol in 8th, Alesh Dander in 9, Martin Krejci in 10, Lucas Rosowski in 11th. Lucas Buxton taking the fastest lap in the end of the race. Peter Kuchel at 12th. Eric Vizzi recovering up to 13th after his early problems. Lubin Mirovic 14th. Michael Lehman 15th. Thomas Prohaska 16th. Honza Riegel in 17th position. Aldrich Stepanovsky, the second big shot car, rounding out the top 18.
In the standings, Lucas Buxton leads the way just ahead of Lucas Pichata, though. It's only 3 points, another 2 points down to Matuszek, and then another 2 points down to Sirotek. It's only 7 points separating the top 4, and we have 3 different teams being represented in the top 4 as well. Everybody has scored points, bar 3 drivers. VR Victoria and Dexfin had a really difficult day today. I don't think it was really representative of their pace, so I think it would be a little bit unfair to to kind of judge them on that. But Entropic really pulling out a heck of a gap after first and third for their drivers. It's now 18 points down to ESET in second position. We are sitting on 55. Another 7 points down to the ERT racing team with the Pichata brothers, who are now sitting in third. A fantastic race. Absolutely loved it. Cannot wait for the next one. I want to say a big thank you to everybody for tuning in. A huge thanks to Chris for joining me, and an absolutely massive thank you to the whole VGP team and the drivers especially for making this possible and for putting on a heck of a show. We will see you next time for round 3 at Zolder. Bye-bye.